Unbelievable royal magic. Princess Leonor's Denmark wedding shakes Europe. A fairy tale, turned real. Spain's future queen. Denmark's beloved prince. Two nations, one heart. But what unfolded in Denmark today, no one expected. Cameras didn't just capture a royal wedding, they captured history shaking Europe to its core. Because this wasn't just about love. It was about legacy, power, and a royal destiny rewritten before the world's eyes. The streets of Copenhagen glimmered under a soft Scandinavian sun. Bells rang from the Church of Our Lady, echoing through the ancient city. Crowds lined every corner, Spanish flags intertwined with Danish colors, waving together in unity. For months, whispers turned into headlines, and headlines turned into heartbeats. Princess Leonor of Spain and Prince Christian of Denmark, Europe's most talked about young royals, were about to seal a union that could redefine the future of two monarchies. As the royal motorcade approached, silence fell. Leonor stepped out, radiant beyond imagination. Her gown, a breathtaking masterpiece of Spanish silk and Danish lace, symbolized everything this wedding stood for, tradition meeting the modern age. The world gasped. The cameras clicked in unison. But behind that serene royal smile was a story few truly knew. Because this wedding wasn't supposed to happen, not like this. For years, quiet tension simmered behind palace walls. The Spanish royal household wanted to protect Leonor from the spotlight. The Danish monarchy, still healing from internal divisions, worried that a foreign marriage might reignite old controversies. Yet love had its own plans. Leonor and Christian defied centuries of protocol to follow their hearts. It all began years ago at a royal summit in Madrid. A fleeting moment, a shared laugh, the spark that would one day light up Europe. From then on, the connection between them grew, letters, private visits, and late-night conversations that crossed borders and expectations. Their love, though young, carried the weight of dynasties. When news of their engagement broke, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Some saw it as a fairy tale. Others called it a political storm. A Spanish queen in a Danish palace. Critics murmured, a Danish prince leaving his kingdom. But through every headline and every speculation, Leonor and Christian remained silent, until this moment. Inside the cathedral, the air was electric. Royals from across Europe filled the pews. King Felipe and Queen Letizia, proud yet visibly emotional, exchanged glances of pride and nostalgia. Queen Margrethe, regal as ever, watched with quiet approval. The organ began its solemn hymn. And when Leonor walked down that aisle, every step echoed with history. Her veil shimmered like morning dew, a gift embroidered by Spanish artisans. Her bouquet, hand-picked from the royal gardens in Denmark, symbolized unity, Spanish orange blossoms and Danish white roses intertwined. Christian stood at the altar, visibly moved, his eyes never leaving hers. When their hands met, the world seemed to pause. But behind that perfection, a deeper story pulsed. For both families, this union was more than a marriage, it was diplomacy, tradition, and emotion intertwined. The ceremony bridged centuries of royal lineage, connecting the Bourbon and Glucksburg houses once more after decades of distance. It was not just the joining of two hearts, it was the merging of two worlds. As the vows began, Leonor's voice trembled softly. She promised loyalty, love, and partnership, not just as a wife, but as a future queen. Christian's reply was steady, his Danish words translating to a promise that resonated far beyond the church walls. In this life and the next, my heart belongs to you. Outside, the crowds erupted into cheers as the newlyweds emerged onto the cathedral steps. Confetti, flags, and tears filled the air. Cameras captured the moment Christian leaned in and kissed Leonor, an image destined to define a generation. The bells rang again, louder this time, as the couple waved to their people, Spain and Denmark united in celebration. The reception, held at Amalienborg Palace, was nothing short of magical. Tables glittered under golden chandeliers. Guests from across the world mingled in awe of the event's grandeur. Leonor changed into a second gown, a sleek, modern design honoring both Spanish artistry and Danish minimalism. The symbolism was clear, she was not just a princess of Spain anymore. She was a woman of Europe. Behind closed doors, the royal speeches began. King Philippe's voice carried emotion as he addressed his daughter. Leonor, he said softly, "You have always belonged to Spain, but today, you belong to love." His words drew tears from the crowd, including Queen Letizia, whose pride radiated brighter than any crown. Queen Margrethe's toast was equally heartfelt. This union reminds us that love is the true diplomacy of the heart. It bridges oceans, unites nations, and gives us hope for tomorrow. As the evening wore on, whispers of what this marriage truly meant began to circulate. Would Spain and Denmark now share deeper political ties? Would Leonor's future reign in Spain reflect Danish influence? Analysts called it the soft power of love. But to those who watched closely, it was clear, this was no staged alliance. It was real. Every look, every gesture between Leonor and Christian revealed authenticity. They laughed during the first dance, spoke softly during the dinner, and held hands beneath the table when they thought no one was watching. Cameras caught glimpses of those moments, and within hours, social media across Europe exploded. "The wedding that restored faith in royalty," one headline read. As midnight struck, fireworks illuminated Copenhagen's harbor. The reflection of light danced on the water, creating an illusion of stars falling into the sea. Leonor and Christian stood at the balcony, waving to the thousands below. For a brief moment, the world wasn't divided by flags or borders, it was united by love. But behind the glitter and celebration, not everyone was at ease. Rumors swirled that certain royal advisors in Madrid questioned the long-term implications of the union. Would Leonor's focus on Denmark complicate her role as Spain's future queen? Others argued that this marriage would strengthen her, making her the first true, European monarch of the 21st century. And perhaps that's exactly what she intended. From the start, Leonor represented a new era. Educated, independent, and deeply aware of her role, she wasn't marrying to follow tradition, she was marrying to redefine it. This wedding wasn't just royal spectacle. It was transformation in motion. As the night drew to a close, the couple disappeared into the palace gardens, a private moment away from cameras. Witnesses said they saw them walking hand in hand under the Danish moonlight, whispering, laughing, and soaking in the reality of their new life. For all their titles and duties, they were still just two people in love. By morning, the headlines were unanimous: unbelievable royal magic. Leonor and Christian shake Europe. A union of hearts and crowns. The world couldn't stop talking. Every nation watched, every heart felt something. Because what happened in Denmark wasn't just a royal wedding. It was a story of courage, connection, and destiny fulfilled. Princess Leonor and Prince Christian had done the impossible, they made monarchy feel human again. As the dawn broke over Copenhagen, Leonor stood by the palace window, the new princess of Denmark, and Spain's future queen. Below her, crowds still celebrated, singing, waving, believing. History had changed. And with one love story, Europe remembered what true royalty really means. The fairy tale had begun. But this time, it was real.